What's up? What's up? What's up, tribe? Let's go. What's up, you guys? Good afternoon. Oh, let me turn my light on. Good afternoon, everybody. So we are here to discuss the conclusion um of Why the Wicked Watched. Okay, I'm gonna drop the link so if anybody wants to come up and have a conversation, we're gonna be here talking about the book, the ending, what we thought, what our opinions were and all that good stuff. What's up, Patty Duke? Hey Keisha, how are you? So I'm gonna drop the link. You guys come up. Remember, you do not have to show your face on screen, but I do need to verify that you are a real person before I bring you up on screen. Um, but again, you do not have to show your face on screen. Um, so how's everybody's Sunday going? Everybody having a good Sunday afternoon? Y'all know next week is daylight savings. I did not realize that we were already there, y'all. We were already at daylight savings. I did not realize that. So I want to show you something. Hold on, you guys. There's 5 of y'all in here. Let me see. I want to show you guys something. Let me see. Did it finish loading? Okay. You guys are going to be the first to see this. Okay. So I have 5 people in here. I was trying to wait for C Golden, but I'll show it again at the end. But I want to show you guys something. You guys are going to be the first to see this. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I want y'all honest opinion. Okay. All right. Let me play it for y'all. So what do y'all think of the intro? That is our what's up, Lady V? That is gonna be our book club intro. I'm put at the beginning of the videos and stuff like that. What y'all think? Y'all like it? Don't like it? Be honest. I want your feedback. You already feeling it? Oh, thank you, Lady V. You love it? Okay, cool. All right, okay. Y'all know Oliver did it for me. Y'all know Oliver has done all my intros. So I wanted us, I was trying to get it done before we started this book, but it is what it is. Life happens. That'll be our intro, you guys. So we are getting there. We are getting there. Now the next book, and who was it? Was it you, Patty Duke? Somebody told me that this is available on audiobook, but it doesn't read like a novel. And I understand why I may not read like a novel is because some stuff in here are like the way the book is written, it's written like a novel, but not, I don't want to say it's written weird because it's not written weird. It's just like stuff like this. Like sometimes they have like ads and stuff like that. So I did not download it yet on audiobook, but it is available on audiobook, but just beware. Somebody told me that it reads a little weird on audiobook. But this is the name of the next book, Black Bottom Saints by Alice Randall. I know it is available on Amazon because that's where I got it from. I got it on paperback, so it wasn't very expensive, and I don't remember. But again, y'all know, check the library. I always tell y'all to go to the library. Check Overdrive. Overdrive is an app. Now I haven't used it in a while. I'm gonna. If I'm being honest, I haven't used it in a while. But Overdrive is an app. It looks like this on your phone. Oh no, nope, it doesn't look like that on your phone. Shoot, it's that blue right there. That's what it looks like on your phone. It's a blue swirl. Um, and when you open it up, you have to link your library card to it. It's on Kindle for $1.99. Okay. You have to link your library card to it, but once you link your library card to it, your Overdrive didn't have it. Okay, so Overdrive might not have this particular book. But once you link your library card to it, then you can check out books through this app and it downloads directly to your Kindle, just like you would a book from the library. And once the book, like if you have it for 2 weeks, at the end of those 2 weeks, if it's no waiting list, You can renew it straight from the app, just like you renew a book when you go to the library. You can renew it straight from the app, and it'll stay on your Kindle until the due date is up. And once the due date is up, then it'll go. And as long as there's no waiting list for the book, you usually don't have a hard time renewing it, right? Now, I'm just being honest. I haven't used this in probably over a year, but it is there. Okay. But I see C Golden said that she wasn't, so C Golden still uses it, so it must still be active. Travel Love, didn't you win one of the Thank you. Didn't you win one of the Black History Month questions? And I told you to give me your was that you? I told you to give me your Cash App. And I know some of y'all might not have Cash App. If y'all don't have Cash App, just let me know. I'll still make sure y'all get a gift or something like that. If y'all don't have Cash App, send me when y'all win a prize like that, and I say just send me your Cash App. If you don't have Cash App or you don't want to give me your Cash App, just let me know that, because I still want to give y'all something. So I'll still get y'all something. So let me know, okay? All right. And there will be starting this week for members only. We will have our Women's History Month questions starting back up this week. Like I said, my goal was to try to do like 2 a week, just randomly. No, it wasn't you. Okay, sorry. Who was it? I'm gonna have to go back and look. But again, that's for my members only. But I will definitely have something for y'all know I always take care of all my subscribers. So we'll have a game night or something like that at the end of this month. And this is Women's History Month, so keep it it'll be along those lines. Okay, let's get into this book. First of all, if you haven't finished reading the book, spoiler alert, because we're gonna finish up the book today. So spoiler alert if you didn't finish reading the book. I know Patty Duke already finished it, and I believe C Golden already finished it. But this is the book, in case you're just in here to support us. This is the book, Tamron Hall as the Wicked Watch. First of all, let me say, bravo to Tamron. Now, there are a few things we'll get there at the end. There are a few things that I'm kind of like, not quite sure where the connection was with that. But overall, this was a really, really good book. You guys, I read a lot of books. Not as many now as I used to, but I read a lot of books. And let me be honest with you when I say this to you guys. These types of books are hard to write because you want to keep it, you want to keep the things going. You want to give us a lot of intrigue. You want to make it a page turner. You got to give us a couple of red herrings because you don't want it to be too obvious who did what. And so I like the fact that she's going to make this a series, that this character, Jordan Manning, is going to be an ongoing character, and she's going to get into these little shenanigans and these types of things. I like the cast of characters around her. I like the fact that she has the guy that's a cop that's on the inside of the inside and gives her those inside scoops. I like the fact that she has other journalist friends that kind of give her clues and they look out for each other. I like the fact that they're building us up, that her friend circle, we see her friend, you know what I'm saying? I like the fact that she has this complicated love life. Let me tell you what I love. I love that Tamron Hall gave us an unapologetic woman who says, listen, this man is fine. We have a good time together when we hang out, but I'm not trying to make him my man. He got a whole nother situation going on over there. He got an on again, off again girlfriend, and I'm not even tripping off of that. Like, I love the fact that we have a woman on here who owns her sexuality, who owns her, what's the word I'm looking for? She owns it, right? Like, she's not meek. She's not, I need a man. I'm looking for a husband. Oh my gosh, why am I so lonely? She's like, girl, listen, I know what it is. Like, I have my career. That is my first mistress. I mean, my first love right now. And I'm going to make it do what it do, right? Anyway, how you guys feel about Jordan as a main character? Like, do you think she did a good job of creating a character that we can have books, a variety of books written after? I read a lot of for lack of a better word, you guys, we know I just read a lot of white authors, and the David Baldaccis. Have you guys ever read any David Baldacci? The David Baldaccis, who have these series, he creates these characters where he can constantly have these series of books. The same thing with who's my guy, the guy that wrote the Lincoln Lawyer, Michael Connolly. He does the same thing. He creates these characters and then he can build these series. Um, the Kay Scarpetta novels, Patricia Cornwell. I mean, Kay Scarpetta probably got about 40 novels at this point, right? Um, Tess Garrison, who did Rizzoli and Isles, that it ended up becoming a TV show. So if you're not familiar with any of these people, y'all let me know. I'll give y'all a list of people that I read. But for this book club, I'm trying to keep it African American writers for obvious reasons. We want to make sure that we're supporting, our Black writers. But I read a lot of those books. You like Jordan? The whole time I was thinking of Jordan as Tamara. Kind of hard not to when she was local to Chicago for so long. Right. You definitely know that this is probably loosely written off of her and probably her situation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even some of these cases are cases that she dealt with, probably changing the names and maybe changing up some of the situations so it doesn't, read kind of like a Law and Order thing where you're like, that is very familiar, but it's not the exact, you know what I'm saying? You love David. Oh, I love David Baldacci. Oh, Patty Duke. It's funny. My sister, so my sister has a new job. She was a chef for a long time. She's still a chef, but she's just not working as a chef right now. And the job that she works at right now, she has a lot of downtime. So she has started reading. My sister's never been a big reader. So for Christmas, she was like, I know this is gonna sound crazy. She was like, but if you think of which, when you think about what you want to give me for Christmas, she was like, I want books. She was like, I have a lot of time to read. The job that she's doing right now, she has a lot of downtime to read. And I was like, what? She said, I know. And so for Christmas, I bought her a variety of books because I wasn't sure what she necessarily wanted to read. But one of the books I got her was David Baldacci, and baby, she is hooked. When I say that, she called me the other day and she was like, okay, so I just finished this one. I'm in Target right now, and I got this one and this one. And she was just like, listen, she is hooked on David Baldacci. I'm actually getting ready to give her this book today. Well, not today, but I'm saying after we finish this today, I'm getting I'm up in my library upstairs. I have like 3 bookshelves just full of books. And so I said I would go through that and pull, because I have David Baldacci and John Grisham and Michael Connolly. Like, I have all of those books. So I said I'm just gonna pull a lot of those and take her a bunch of books so she don't have to keep buying books. And I talked to my mom. I think she don't watch my YouTube channel, so I can tell y'all. For Mother's Day, I think I'm gonna get her a Kindle so she can just download the books. Probably get her a Kindle and get her like a gift card so she can buy, a bunch of books and put them on her thing. And I'm gonna show her how to use Overdrive. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of all of that. Let's get to this book, y'all. So I think the last place we left off with Jordan interviewing with the lawyer for the two, for the boys that got arrested for this crime that we know that they ain't do this damn crime. Now, first of all, here go my problem. Everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody, because there were some things that made them look guilty that were bad decisions, but they were kids, right? Recommend a David Baldacci book for you. Okay, see, Golden. Let me think about it, because he has series. So what I want to do is make sure I recommend a book at the beginning of one of the series. He's got. Let me tell you, I think my favorite series. Now, do you like espionage type stuff, like conspiracy theory kind of stuff? Because one of the series that I really like by David Baldacci, is his Camel Club series. And it's the setting is in Washington, D.C. A lot of his books, the setting is in D.C. But the Camel Club is like a group of older guys who basically they get into shenanigans, but it's all about like these conspiracy theories, government, stuff like that. All right, I'm gonna get you some titles. I'll get you some titles. Matter of fact, before we get off of here, I can and Patty Duke, if you could think of a good book for her to start with too, let me know. Because off the top of my head, I don't know. I have to look it up. But if you remind me, see, Golden, I'll look it up before we get off of here. I can just go on Amazon right now and give you a couple of names. Or if not the Camel Club, who's the guy? Because he's going to come up with a new novel. I forget his name, but he's a former cop. His book was good. If I could find his book was good too. First Family. Oh, First Family is a good one, Patty Duke. C. Golden, that's a good one to start with. First Family is a very good one to start with. Yes. What's the name of Patty Duke? If you can remember the name of, you know who I'm talking about, the guy who played professional football and he got hit. Um, okay, Lady V, because somebody asked me to post something else yesterday too. I'll write it down. He played professional football. He got hit like in his first game, and he got a really bad concussion. And now he has a condition where he colors, like hit the colors tell him certain things. And then he became a cop, and then you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to tell too much, but his name, if I can remember the name of his first book, because I think they're on book 6 of him. His first book is really good. And that gives you his whole like origin story and stuff like that. He's funny. He's funny. All right, so we left off. That's what we left off talking about. And I think I read you some of that conversation between Jordan and the lawyer. So let's pick up from there. All right, hold on. Let me. So after the police arrested the 3 boys, it really sort of divided the city because most people did not think that those boys were guilty. Unfortunately, the one person that did believe the boys were guilty was Pamela, Macy's mom. Now, I don't think Pamela necessarily believed those boys were guilty as much as she wanted it to be over at that point, and she wanted somebody to blame because the more they were researching and the more they were digging, the more or the worse secrets were coming out about Macy that she didn't necessarily want out. You know, she wanted her to be remembered as this good honor student who didn't do anything wrong. And now we're starting to find out that, you know, she was getting picked up from school by some dude, and maybe she was into some things. And so I think mama just wanted it over, you know, and unfortunately at the expense of 3 innocent boys. I don't think she consciously was saying I don't care. I think it was I'm trying to protect my daughter. Y'all tell me if y'all feel differently. So it was sort of this situation where, like I said, the city was divided, and it was becoming a sort of a racial powder keg, not because there were white people involved so much as it was just again about y'all are just rushing to blame somebody instead of really trying to put in the work to make sure that the person you're blaming is the person that actually did it. And that was frustrating a lot of people, especially again, we're talking about you playing with lives of 3 little boys, right? So, let me see here. All right. So the 2 boys were officially charged, and Jordan went to the courthouse for that. And of course, everybody is still weird, like just not concerned. Now I'm gonna read y'all this piece because this is gonna become very important later on. Louise Robinson, you know, neighborhood activist, the one that you know was warning Miss Jordan about what she called, what was his name? Red somebody. So this is what she said to the police. I mean, she did a video, you know, an interview, and this was her what she said. I'm here to save these boys. They are much younger than Macy. They've never attended the same school as Macy. There is no link between these boys and Macy, not one. When would they have encountered her? Where would the crime have taken place? These charges are an insult to our intelligence, and we demand that police go back to the drawing board or wherever they need to go to find out who did this. There's nothing anybody could tell me to make me believe that these children are the perpetrators. Now that's going to be Red Molly. Thank you. Now that's going to be very interesting. That Miss Louise is screaming from the mountaintops that these boys are innocent, right? So her and Joy make up. I think we talked about that the last time. Now we're into chapter 13. Down at the newsroom, the editors decided they need to have a mandatory town hall meeting where everybody can come in and basically just express themselves and because again the tension is building up, and Jordan has this coworker Keith who was like the red conservative Fox News guy, and he's jealous of Jordan, and he gives Jordan a hard time and makes for a very uncomfortable work situation. So before she goes to the town hall meeting, she gets a phone call. Okay, hold on. She gets a phone call from Yvette, I think. Let me make sure I'm right. Yvonne. I said Yvette, Yvonne. So Yvonne calls her and lets her know that there was a situation at her house that Terrence showed up, and him and Manny got into a fight. Now, Manny, if you don't remember, Manny is Yvonne's boyfriend who cuts hair in the basement while she does hair upstairs. Terrence is the guy they've been looking for, that's connected to Terrence is the one that's connected to what's his name, y'all? The fake record producer that was supposedly helping out Macy. They got into a fight. And this is what she said. She said, how did they get into a fight? Manny blew up. He kept saying, I don't need this shit. And why are you talking about me to reporters? But I was like, you mean it's never crossed your mind he could have something to do with Macy? He said, we're going to straighten this out right now. Then he called Terrence, and Terrence came over. I overheard Manny talking to Terrence on the phone. The way he sounded when he asked him to stop by, the fact that he came over so fast, Terrence had to know what Manny wanted to talk to him about. I was surprised at how calm he seemed before he got here. When he got here. Terrence met me and Manny downstairs in the barber shop. He seemed caught off guard that I was with Manny. Before we could say anything, he said, man, I'm going to get that money I owe you. Apparently, Jordan lent him $1,000. Manny told him it wasn't about the money. It was about Macy. Terrence blew up. Look, man, I'm sorry about what happened with her, but what's that got to do with me? That's when Manny said, you act like you hardly knew her, but that's a lie. Before Terrence could respond, Terrence stood there. He wasn't saying anything at first, and then he tried to leave. He told Manny he wasn't going to have this conversation with him and that he was out. Manny stood in front of the door and flat out asked him, did you do something to her? Are you crazy? And Manny lost it. The next thing I knew, Manny had him on the floor beating his ass. I was screaming to Manny to stop. I don't know how Terrence got out from under him, but he took off running. Manny tried to run after him, but I grabbed him and begged him not to follow. He could have a gun in the car. I just begged him to let it go. So then he said that Terrence threatened to go to the police and send Manny back to jail. This is the worst thing that could have happened. If Terrence does make good on his threat and calls the police and they come for Manny, my name might come up, and I don't need detectives knowing I was over there talking to Yvonne and Pam. This is what Jordan is thinking while she's talking to Yvonne. But she ends up letting Yvonne know, like, listen, girl, he ain't about to call the police because he don't want the police in his business, and he damn sure don't want to have to explain to the police why him and Manny were fighting. So she said, don't worry about it. Calm everybody down. But you don't really have to worry about Terrence actually calling the police on anybody. So then she goes into the town hall meeting. This is where things get really, really bad, y'all. When I say bad, remember how I said the press conference was a turn? Well, here we're about to get into another turn. So she goes into the town hall meeting, and they proceed to start talking about what's on their mind. And of course, they get to talking about the boys and whether the boys are guilty or not. And of course, Keith is ready to fight. Keith is like, they did it, they guilty. it is what it is. And him and Jordan get into it really nasty. Like it gets really nasty between them. So Keith throws out that Jordan put the life of an intern in danger. So Jordan's boss was like, "Do what?" And Jordan was like, her life was never in danger. Like, how dare you put that out there? Got me looking crazy. And Jordan actually ends up leaving out of the town hall because it got so heated. She was ready to, get into some things. So her boss follows after her. Her boss is like, now mind you, her and her boss are cool too. But her boss was like, what the hell was he talking about you and the intern? And so Jordan has to explain. Remember, I told y'all how she took the intern with her to go to the school, and when they had to run in with Yvette and the other young lady, and she was like, how could she said, first of all, you don't even have an intern assigned to you. Hey, LMV. So for you to like, you were wrong for that. Like you were wrong for putting her in danger. And she told her, she said, listen, you get a little too close to this case. I'm gonna need you to chill out. I'm gonna need you to take a step back. And she's pissed off at her because Jordan was wrong. Jordan was absolutely wrong for taking the intern there, and two, she didn't tell anybody. So that's always a pretty good indicator that you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing, right? The fact that you won't tell nobody what it is that you're doing. So Jordan ends up leaving there. Now, this is where y'all got to remember some things that I already told y'all. Now, most of y'all in here read the book, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Sorry, y'all got cotton mouth. I had to take one of my pain pills last night, and y'all know, so I got a little cotton mouth. So she leaves the station, and she actually goes over to the gym, work out some energy, work off some, some frustration. And her man is at the gym. Now she's still kind of mad at him, and he's still trying to, do right by her or whatever. So they have like a workout, and he's kind of pushing her. He's telling her, you can do better, you can do more. And she's kind of giving him the side eye, like, but again, she was already in a shitty mood when she got there. So she's on her way home. She's feeling better. She done worked out some adrenaline, worked out some things, some kinks and things. And she ends up, she's going home. She gets home, and what happened? Somebody's in her parking space again. Now, remember, this is the second time somebody was in her parking space. And remember, when somebody's in her parking space, she has to go all the way, park somewhere else, and walk around and do a whole bunch of extra stuff. Also, remember, I ain't going to keep reminding y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all what happened. We'll get to it. So as she's pissed off, and she's talking about how she's going to file a complaint, and she's really, really angry this time. And she, gets out her car, and she starts walking into the stairwell. Now, the stairwell, which she remembered, had a flickering light. But this time when she went into the stairwell, the light was off altogether. And the last thing she remembers is somebody calling her name or saying something about, because she went on a radio show and was talking about her being single. And somebody called her name and was like, you still single? And she went to turn around, and that's all she remembered. And basically, somebody whooped her ass. Okay, we're just going to call a thing a thing. Somebody whooped her ass. Next thing you know, she woke up in the ambulance. And she gets to the hospital, and not only is she in the hospital, she's got contusions and things of that nature, a concussion and stuff like that. But she also finds out that Bass was stabbed because he went to go try to help her, and he was stabbed. And what we find out is that he saw her on the security camera. He saw her get out of her car and go into the stairwell, but she never came through the lobby, because remember, when she parks in her parking space, she doesn't have to go through the lobby. The parking space is right on her floor, and she walks from the parking space straight to the floor and goes to her apartment. But when she doesn't have her parking space, she has to go through the lobby and get on the main elevator and go up to her apartment. And so she never came out of the came into the lobby. So when he went to go check on her, the guy was still doing, God knows what he would have done if Bass hadn't shown up. But Bass ended up getting stabbed, and he was in had to be rushed into surgery. So now Jordan, of course, she already feels some kind of way, about the fact that she was assaulted, but now she feels guilty about the fact that um Bass is now fighting for his life, right? And of course, all the things you would expect, people called to check on her, people, worried about her. Her boss even, called to check on her or whatever. And, you know, things were still a little tense there because she's still mad at her about the whole intern thing. But of course, certain things will supersede that. Like you being mad about an intern situation, but I literally just almost got, But in true Jordan fashion, y'all, she ain't stay home but a couple of days and she started getting um cabin fever, and she tried to go back to work and her boss was like, absolutely not, under no uncertain terms are you bringing your happy ass up in this place. Like, I don't understand what you're thinking. Like, if you don't take your ass back home and relax. But of course Jordan can't, because things are now starting to click. A lot of stuff is starting to fall into place for her. So let me give y'all this. So this is we are in chapter. Are we still in chapter 13? Let me see here. I'm trying to get all of this is her getting assaulted and all of that. Okay, yeah. So that takes us to the end of chapter 13. So we're in chapter 14 now. No, we're in chapter 15. Sorry. One of the boys, I don't want to think about what have happened. Right. If Bass hadn't come, baby, it would have been, listen, I don't know, right. Because, Lord knows what would have happened to Jordan. So thank God for Bass. Now, the other thing that happened was one of the young boys, actually, he got assaulted in jail because the oldest boy, they had him in the adult jail, but he was supposed to be in protective custody. And then the two younger kids were in juvenile detention. Now, as someone, I used to work at a jail. I used to work at a detention center, a juvenile detention center. And they, when young kids are being charged as adults, technically they have to go to an adult jail. But generally, if they're under a certain age, they will keep them in protective custody, keep them away from the older guys, the older inmates, keep them on another unit or whatever. But, incompetence is what it is. Shit happens. And unfortunately, this young kid, he got assaulted. And so now the parents are really pissed off because they already think their child is being railroaded. And now their child was put in danger. So, it's putting even more pressure on the police and even more scrutiny on the police than they had before, right? So this Red Molly situation was really on Jordan's mind. So Jordan, when she left her house, she went over to Louise's house to talk to her and get more information about this Red Molly situation. Now, when she gets there, she showed up unannounced and she was like, this is really rude of me to show up at somebody's house unannounced, but I really need to talk to Louise. I really need to get some answers from Miss Louise. And so she gets there and she finds out that Keith, her nemesis from the station, was actually supposed to be showing up there to interview Louise, as the community spokesperson. But of course, because the first thing Louise said was they sent, they sent two of you, like, why two reporters from the same station showing up at my house? And that's how Jordan found out. But Jordan proceeds to talk to Louise about this Red Molly situation. She said, listen, you know more than what you're saying, because she figured out that there has to be two people involved, or at least she feels like there has to be two people involved, because it's like, who attacked me? Was it Terrence? Who else is in the picture? So she went to go talk to Louise. I read that already. She went to go talk to Louise, and Louise starts getting very evasive with her, to the point where it even gets to be a little, rude, I guess, between the two of them. And by the end of the conversation, she is convinced that Louise knows more than what she's saying, and she's also convinced that Louise maybe more closely connected than what we found out, because there are two names that have come up. We have Terrence, and then we also have Brent. Now we find out that Terrence and Brent are really good friends. They're even business partners slash roommates, right? But what we also find out in this conversation is that Brent is Luis's nephew. Now, what we find out later on is that Brent is really her stepson, who she had when she basically raised him. And Jordan is like, well, Brent is involved in this somehow, some way. And of course, Louise is like, no, he's not. He's a good kid. He ain't do nothing to nobody. He ain't do nothing wrong. Yada yada yada. And so Jordan sort of accuses, her of basically lying and keeping up information. And Louise puts her out the house, child. Louise tells her to get the hell out under no uncertain terms. Get out of my house. But Jordan is like a dog with a bone now. It's starting to click, 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 click. So I'm gonna read you a little bit. This is after she leaves Louise's house. My work in Inglewood is far from finished. I turned down 71st Street and made a quick right onto Peoria and to Yvonne and Manny's. There were two cars parked out front, possibly belonging to customers. I admired their hustle and hoped they wouldn't regard my dropping by as a bold intrusion. Who is it? Said a muffled voice behind the door. Yvonne, it's Jordan Manning. The door flung open, and the concerned look on Yvonne's face reminded me that I must look like. It was one thing for Yvonne to have heard the report, but another to be one of the few people who actually saw me face to face. She asked her, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. So she says, don't worry about that right now. Jordan tells Yvonne that she needs to talk to Manny. So they go downstairs to talk to Manny. Manny was sweeping up hair from his last customer. He stopped what he was doing. He turned around with the broom in hand and dropped his head. He said, sister, I'm so sorry. Appearing genuinely remorseful, you and that brother who got stabbed, that should have never happened. Thank you for saying that, I said. I don't think it was random. Nor do I. What do you know? He said, let's go in here and sit down. Manny arranged Manny arranged three of the waiting room chairs in a semicircle. I hope you don't think I had anything to do with that. His eyes were full of regret and a far cry from the hard stare he had given me the first time we met. What do you want to tell me? I asked. Actually, we want to show you something. Yvonne pulled a photo album off the shelf behind her and removed the image from its pages. The photo was of a man and a girl. I recognized Macy. She was sitting on a man's lap with her legs crossed, her arms slung around his shoulder. The man's arms went around her body and was resting on her bottom. That's Terrence. The photo eliminated any doubt in my mind that Terrence was having an inappropriate relationship with Macy. You've had this all along, I asked. No, I found it in the plastic pumpkin Macy used to keep her nail polish in. Macy was keeping it hidden. So again, the Jordan is another Olivia Benson child. She sure is. So again, we're connecting these dots, right? So now we know for certain that Terrence and Macy had a little something going on. Now we know for certain that Leslie, that was her name, Leslie, that the community organizer, Miss Leslie Robinson, got a little something going on that she's keeping from the police. And it's funny because, again, she's all caught up in the middle of it. And then they continue to talk. Okay, so this is when she's finding out that Brent and Terrence are actually roommates. And Manny looked surprised. Really? I thought Brent worked for Terrence. I ain't heard of either one of them say that they were business partners. What's Brent like? I asked. He's quiet, Manny said. But Yvonne, I noticed, was having a visceral reaction. What's wrong? Oh God, she said and started shaking. What is it, babe? You know Monique? She asked Manny. Yeah, Monique Connors, I asked. Now, Monique Connors was the girl in the coat. Yvonne said, yes. How do you know her? It was a chance encounter at the visual. As I was walking through the crowd, I ran into the young girl who described herself as Macy's friend. They were more than sort of friends. They actually got closer with Brent. Her brother started getting his hair cut here. Oh, they're brother and sister? Yes. Yvonne raised an eyebrow and said, I'm thankful to God that I didn't have a brother like that. Now listen to this. Manny turned to look at Yvonne like he was unsure what she was talking about. I stared at her, bracing myself for the point she was trying to make. I don't know how you're going to feel, Jordan, about me not mentioning this before. Manny doesn't even know. As a woman who has had something like this happen to me before, I just didn't want to tell anyone what was shared with me. Young girls like to tell me everything. I don't know why. They just trust me and tell me everything. Maybe it's being in the chair and me taking care of them. You kind of become a therapist. Yvonne, I need you to get to the point. I was cracking up. Jordan will be quick to tell somebody, hurry up. Like, people be trying to, like, really give her some stuff. And she be like, I just need the meat. I don't need the potatoes. Okay? But anyway, Monique hates her brother, and she's also afraid of him. She can't stand him. Monique told me a couple of months ago that when she was younger, Brent used to come in her room and touch her. She swallowed and lowered her gaze, recognizing again the impact of what she was saying and triggering memories of her own. Manny squeezed his forehead and rubbed at his temples. I grabbed Yvonne's hand, left to console her as a woman. How long did she say this went on? I asked. She didn't say how long exactly. She said for years. Our girls are not safe. I'd heard of thousands of times, but to appreciate the full extent of what was really meant almost too much to bear. What it really meant was almost too much to bear. Do you have a picture of Brent? I asked. Yvonne was in no shape to answer. The whole world had turned upside down. She was emotionally destroyed. Hold up, said Manny. Let me look in the box at the pictures from a cookout last summer. I know he was there, and we have a bunch of pictures. So they found a picture of Manny, and they give it to Jordan. Lord have mercy. I want to thank you both so much. This must have been hard for you to share. As I got up to leave, Manny, wait before you go. He grabbed a miniature filing cabinet at a nearby table and pulled out a business card. In case you're interested, he said, and he handed me Terrence's card. Mad Cash Talent Management, it said, with a stupid, what a stupid name. The card listed an address. So once she left the house, she forwarded all that information to Joey. And then she told him to call her. Excuse me. But y'all know Yvonne. I mean, damn, y'all, I'm getting my names. Y'all know Jordan. So what do y'all think Jordan decided to do when she left there and she had that information? Y'all, Jordan decided she was going to go down to this talent agency and check it out for herself. Now, she talked to, I know Yvonne was a kitchen beautician, but good grief, cosmetologists are mandated reporters for domestic violence. I think that should extend the child. I didn't know that. Cosmetologists are mandated reporters? Girl, you just taught me something I did not know that. I would have never thought about that. I did not know that. Huh. You learn something new every day. So y'all know Jordan headed her happy ass down to the talent agency, right? Joy is on the phone with her telling her, don't go, wait for me. She said, Joy, I gotta go. We gotta do this. We don't have time. So he said, okay, at least let me get there. He said, I'm about 30 minutes out. Wait for me. Don't go anywhere and let me go. I did not know Right. What would Olivia do? Right. That's exactly what Olivia would do. Okay. So actually, that's a lie. I'm sorry, y'all. That's a lie. She didn't go down to the talent agency that at that time. She actually did go back home. And this is where Thomas came to see her, and that just did not go well. Okay. Thomas came with flowers, and Thomas is trying to be her man, and she is not thinking of him like that. And she is upset because she's like, he's trying to change the terms of this arrangement. Like, you are my friends with benefits. You are my booty call. You are the person that I call when I need to get a little edge off. And you trying to turn this into a whole thing. And not only do I not want to turn it into a whole thing, but this is the worst time for you to try to turn it into a whole thing because I got too much going on. Y'all, me too, Keisha, because I was listening. I was listening to the last couple of chapters, right? And I'm listening to her and I'm yelling at her in my car. Okay. I am yelling at her like if she don't go sit down somewhere, especially when she went down to that talent agency. Oh, I was so mad at her. I said, girl, you still beat up and you looking for more trouble. We can flip through all of that, child, because he got mad and it just wasn't good, child. It wasn't good. So the next morning, another body was found, basically with the same details of Macy. So we get down there, and what we realize is that the killer is, hey, Miss Honey, what's up, boo? What we realize is that the killer is starting to feel a little irrational. You know, y'all have seen it on SVU and all of that, feeling like the walls are closing in. And so they did go out and they killed another young girl in very much the same way. And she, hold on. Hold on. Tiana Mosley is her name. She's a 19-year-old former high school track star and had been one of a million of teenagers who face homelessness on their own the past 5 or 6 months, trafficked by predators and working the streets. For that, her mother kicked her out the house. Now she was angry and full of regret, insisting that she never stopped loving her daughter, pleading with the community to help find the killer. It was a repeat episode, only this time I scored an exclusive with her mother later that day, solidifying my place in the Chicago media lexicon as a reporter who landed the ratings boosting tearful interview with the grieving mother. Similarities between the condition of Macy's body and Tanaya's were too striking to ignore. I made the deduction even without the inside scoop from Dr. Chan. I missed him and wondered when he would return. So she begged her boss to let her go back to work, and she was able to get the interview with the mom. She went once she got done with that, she went down and tried to bum rush the police child. She went to go try to corner Bartlett, who is the head was he the chief? Is Bartlett the chief of police or just the head detective, y'all? Neither here nor there. He ended up calling Jordan's job and complaining about Jordan. And her, Ellen, who was her boss, was basically like, girl, you can't just be running all half cocked, like, trying to corner I think it's the police chief, trying to corner the police chief. So that wasn't a good look, child. Hold on. So, hold on. She reaches out to April because remember, April has the inside track on getting DNA tested. So she reaches out to April because she wants to see if the person who attacked her is connected in any way to Macy's case, because of course she's starting to connect these dots. We also see the reemergence of Dr. Chan. And we find out, didn't I tell y'all Dr. Chan ass was sick somewhere we found out that Dr. Chan, well, I lied. I mean, I didn't lie. I was wrong about him being in Switzerland. He really was in Switzerland, but he was doing some sort of study, experimental research study. But he don't look good. And when Jordan finally caught up with him, we find out that the tissue sample from Macy's case, it wasn't that it was lost, it was never processed. So now we're getting her tissue processed from the crime scene, from her attack. We're getting Macy's tissue processed. April is on the job as well. And I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, Lord. And here she is back out on the street. So she goes back down to the school because she figured out who the football player was that the intern had talked to that first time. Remember, she talked to the intern who said that Macy was getting picked up from school by some dude, but she didn't get his name. Well, come to find out, he's like a big, football star. And so she was able to find out who he was. So she went down to the school to talk to him. And he basically just confirmed what she already had known. And he was able to describe the driver, which sounded like who? Terrence. So all of the connections are being all the things are connected together. She let Joey know, I got confirmation that the driver was Terrence. Now is when she goes down to the talent agency. And Joey told her to wait, but y'all know her ass didn't wait, child. She tried to wait. Y'all. She was across the street at a bar having a drink, keeping her eye on the little talent agency because the police had been staking out the talent agency, but he wasn't showing up. And so the police pulled somebody off of it. And her thing was, Terrence is probably smart enough to know that. And so now that he knows that the police aren't staked out in front of his spot anymore, he probably will double back. Which she was smart about because that's exactly what happened. So she's across the street, minding her business. No, she didn't try. She was across the street having a drink, and she noticed that a car pulled up. She couldn't make out who the driver was, but she saw two women, a young girl and a woman that was a little bit older, go into the building, and she was almost certain that it was Terrence. Now, she did text Joey. And because Joy said he was going to send a squad car because he was so far away. So she went inside anyway, y'all, and she ended up confronting Terrence. And of course, that didn't go so well. Terrence knew exactly who she was when he saw her, and was like, basically, what you doing here, bitch? It ended up being a situation, and the police showed up just in time. And they were able to arrest Terrence. But again, they couldn't really necessarily hold Terrence longer than the 72-hour hold, because they don't really have any evidence. Like, they have a lot of circumstantial, we think this is what happened, but until the results come back from that DNA, they don't have anything to confirm it, right? They don't have nothing to confirm the situation. So let me keep flipping, y'all. I'll read y'all a little bit of that. Without any evidence, in 2 days, Terrence Bankhead will be back on the street. Terrence has an alibi, said Joey the morning after his arrest. He couldn't have killed Tayana. He was out of town. Yeah, but that doesn't let him off the hook for Macy's murder, and Brent could have killed Tayana, I said. I would love to tell my attacker, you thought you were taking me off the field, but not being on the air, no scripts, no deadlines, no live shoots, no meetings with reporters, actually freed me up. Joey promised to pay Louise Robinson a surprise visit today and establish cause to win court approval to run a wiretap on her phones. I bookended his efforts by getting all of the dirt I had on Terrence into the hands of Adele Costanzo's anonymously, and that's the lawyer for the three little boys. All I needed was a burner phone and a Starbucks to hit up to send from to drop it in a trash bin, and then she couldn't know it was from me, but I made it detailed enough so that she would know the source was credible. Adele didn't suffer fools greatly. Even if she knew it was me, she would never tell. My heart was with the boys and whatever it took to free them. If my instincts were correct, Adil would light the fire and spread allegations of police negligence to cast doubt on the client's guilt. But in the evidentiary world, her accusations would amount to conjecture. I needed something that would stick. And so that's when we start getting what I just told y'all about Dr. Chan and then the evidence and all that stuff like that. So, okay. And just like that, Louise Robinson reemerged, piggybacking off Adele's striking rebuke of the police and the prosecutor's office to incite the community's anger, using her bully pulpit to stay in the news and keep the focus on Terrence. Whether she knew it or not, I wasn't sure, but Terrence's alibi in the Mosley murder had turned the spotlight on Brent as a suspect. I asked her about Brent, of course. Jordan, that dude is the love of her life, Joey said. He filled me in on his drop-in visit. There's something really sick about that relationship. So Joey went to go talk to her, and he picked up on the same thing. Like, listen, some ain't right, you know. And I almost felt like they might have been alluding to the fact that maybe Louise and Brent had like a sexual relationship, which really would have been kind of sick. But let me get to the lab results. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so this is a news report. Police say they have evidence connecting a Chicago man, Brent Carter, also known as Alexander or Alec, to homicide victim Macy James. He is also a suspect in the murder of Tiana Mosley, 19 of Chatham. Both victims were sexually assaulted, suffered similar types of wounds, and were killed at different locations, and their bodies discovered elsewhere. Carter, 22, is also wanted for the assault. On News Channel 8, investigative journalist Jordan Manning. Harold Brantley, a security guard who remains hospitalized. Police warn residents that Brent Carter is extremely dangerous. Now, the damning evidence against Carter has also deepened the case against his close friend and business associate, Terrence Bankhead. A judge revoked his bond yesterday. So, once all of the DNA results came back and they were able to connect the DNA, because listen, Jordan also found some DNA down at that talent agency. She picked up a used condom. Nasty, but DNA is DNA, I guess. And they were able to connect the DNA between the condom down at the talent agency, the DNA she had from her attack, and Macy. So we know it was all the same person. Now they put a tap on Louise's phone, and they know that Louise has been in touch with been in touch with Brent, and is actually going to try to help him. So they end up going to Louise's house, child, and Brent showed up. Brent, quote unquote, stole her car, which they don't really think that he stole it. They think she kind of gave it to him. And Louise ended up getting taken out of handcuffs, honey. And again, you know, how the mighty falls, because her whole reputation now is scarred, because they absolutely have her be an accessory after the fact. After she knew that this man was wanted for murder, she's helping him and was actually going to give him some money and gave him a car. But the police did end up, they figured out where Terrence was basically by going through his DCFS file, where they found out where he used to live when he was a kid. You know, a lot of times people go back to where they felt safe, that safe space. So they went back to where he used to live, and which was like you know, like a high-rise project type situation. And he's on the phone with Louise. Louise is trying to get him, you know, to turn himself in and to come to the police. She's actually cooperating with the police at this point. But unfortunately, Brent ends up saying his goodbyes and jumping off the building. So Brent is no more. Okay. Terrence is in custody. Terrence is in jail. Louise is in jail. And we find out that Bass is going to be okay. right? Base is gonna be okay. And Jordan goes to talk to him to, she was feeling really, really guilty about what happened. So she's able to go and talk to him and get that guilt up off of her kind of thing. Um, and that's pretty much what it was, y'all. I don't want to give y'all all the ins and the outs because it was good. The last couple of chapters were like boom, 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 boom. And the funny thing is, or the sad thing is, I should say, is even after all of that, the police were still dragging their feet about letting those three boys out of jail. And I'm thinking, all of this evidence that shows that they didn't have anything to do with what happened, and y'all are still dragging y'all feet trying to get these, trying to help these kids get out of jail. I thought that was really sad. I thought that was really, really sad that it went down like that. But anyway, y'all, that was the book. It was really good. Like I said, it definitely leaves the door open for another series. Keith child left, and we done found him a job somewhere else, so she don't have to worry about Keith getting on her nerves. Her little nemesis getting on her nerves, y'all. But I definitely, if I had to, now the only thing, I don't know if Louise was trying to deal with her own guilt or what, but the only thing I didn't really, at the end, I didn't understand was why Louise ever even told Jordan that story about Red Moley. It was almost as if she wanted to snitch, but didn't want to snitch because it just was out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like she's interviewing her about one thing, and then she starts talking about Red Moley out of nowhere, which is what ended up helping them figure out this whole case to begin with. I mean, I'm not sure if that was just the only way that the author could figure out how to get it in and get the clue in, or I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. That's the only thing that for me I was kind of like, girl, you knew that boy was involved. Why you even put the spotlight on there? Why did you even put a spotlight on there? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes folks drop bits and pieces of confess. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes people just talk too much, child. But you're right, and that's why I said in my mind I was trying to figure out. So was this the only way she thought she could get it in there, or was she purposefully making Louise that person? Like maybe she did, maybe that was a way of showing that she did have some guilt. You know what I'm saying? She felt some guilt about what it was, but didn't know how to necessarily put it out there. I don't know. But either way, it was, I mean, that's not a big enough thing for me to be like, oh my gosh. It was just a little something to make me be like, hmm. So, let me just read you guys. I read this to you guys before. I'm gonna read it to you again. So the next book is Black Bottom Saints, and I'm gonna just read you the back, just so you guys get an idea. On his deathbed in 1968, Ziggy Johnson, MC, dance, school dean, and columnist, tells the story of his life in a mid-century Black Detroit by writing a Saints Day book starring 61 of his friends, including Della Reese, Joe Louis, Billy Eckstein, Nat King Cole, and Robert Hayden. What emerges is a forgotten world of Black excellence, a caramel Camelot fueled by Ziggy's beloved breadwinners, the factory workers, who were also a brilliant audience who privileged Black aesthetics and Black joy. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the author. Alice Randall is the author. Alice Randall was born in Detroit, Michigan. Both of her grandmothers lived, loved, and worked in Black Bottom, as did her father. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee, where she is a writer in residence at Vanderbilt University in the Department of African American and Diaspora Studies. Right, Miss Honey. Thank God for some guilt, child. Louise was the Red Moley to me. It takes children's innocence. She took Brent's. That's true. Now that's true. I can see your point on that one, Miss Patty. Did I tell y'all this before? I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get off of here. When I went to Detroit, Detroit prior to the Blacksonian that opened up, that's what we call it, the Black Smithsonian, the Blacksonian. Detroit probably had the best African American history museum I'd ever been to. Now that doesn't mean I've been to every single one that exists in the United States, but out of the ones I had been to, this was actually the best one. And because it's like you go into a world, it's not just artifacts and stuff. You actually are in it. Like it totally Like at the beginning, you actually felt like you were in a slave cave. It was hot, and it was a cave. You had to actually duck in and go through. Then you felt like you were actually on a slave ship. You heard water swishing, and it was like a whole scene that was acting out, and you were on like a boat, like it had the wood planks and everything, like you were on a boat. And there was a part towards the end, as again you're walking through actual scenes. There's a part where you walk, and the way they have it set up is almost like you don't see it coming because it's closed off or it's around a corner. So you turn the corner and you're actually on a street in Detroit, in Black Bottom, like Detroit's version of Harlem in during the Renaissance, during this time period. And you can actually go into a barbershop and they have a, an audio plan of two guys talking about what's going on at the time. You can actually go into um like a felt like a hospital where the nurses are sort of gossiping and they're talking about different things. There's an actual movie theater. You can walk in and sit down and they have a movie playing on the screen that you would have seen during this time period. And you are literally walking down a street. And it was just so good. And so when I saw the description of this book, it made me think because I don't know a lot about Black Bottom. I mean, of course, we know about Harlem, and I know about DC U Street because I grew up here, and I know that the U Street area was sort of equivalent to New York's Harlem. And every major city had a Harlem, you know. And so we know that in Chicago it was oh shoot, they mention it in this book. Damn it. In Chicago it was called shoot, y'all gonna make me go through the book and find it. Haven't been since it first opened. Sounds like they've added a lot more. See, Golden, I went years ago. I went years ago. And I don't even know if it's still open because I don't even know if they were able to keep it. Bronzeville, thank you, C Golden. So like Chicago has Bronzeville. When I went, it was good. When I went, it was so good, and I got so caught up. My only complaint was the gift shop. The gift shop was horrible. Oh my gosh. I said, after all of that y'all just gave us, and after I just went through all that, I was ready to go in that gift shop and spend some money. Like, I probably would have spent $100, $150 if they had some good shit in there. When I got to the gift shop, they ain't had nothing. And what I mean by that is, you just gave me the history not only of Detroit, but you gave me a lot of African American Black history. There should have been so many books, especially on Detroit history, especially on Black Bottom history. Like, I would have bought all that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Because you intrigued my interest. For somebody like me, you piqued my interest. I wanted to know more. I got to the gift shop and there wasn't shit there. There was nothing in the gift shop. And when I say nothing, I mean, I don't mean they did. I mean, they had keychains and key rings, but they didn't have books. They didn't have stuff that I wanted to buy, you know? Anyway, that's just me being a nerd, y'all. So let me get out of here. But I do not have a community wall on this channel yet because I don't have enough subscribers on this channel. So I will post stuff on my main channel. And if you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. But I'm not sure when I get a community wall, but I don't have one yet. I think you have to have 500 subscribers. I'm not sure the number, but until I can get a community wall over here, I'll just keep posting stuff on the main channel. So I will post the next book with that information. I'm gonna go. Oh, before I get off of here, see, Golden, I said I was gonna look up the David Baldacci. But First Family is a good one. First Family is a good one. Oh, hold on. Let me go into my Amazon. We can look up David Baldacci. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe he might have a website. Hold on. Let me see if he has a website first. Yep. Here it is. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Is the first one necessary split second? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me look. Let me share my screen. All right. Let me see. Okay. So books. So hold on. Okay, so he has Amos Decker. That's who I was thinking about. So Amos Decker's series is really, really good. Um, the Camel Club series is really, really good. Will Roby is one of the newer ones. King and Maxwell is really good. I think they tried to make King and Maxwell a TV show. I don't think it had more than one season, but I think I remember them making a TV show out of King and Maxwell. But if I were going to start just for the first time, I would either start with Camel Club or the Amos Decker. Let me see if you click Amos Decker if it takes you to the first one. Memory Man is the first one, I think. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because Walk the Wire, I think, is the newest one, and it just came out or was getting ready to come out. But Memory Man is the first one because he has like this crazy memory. Um, Amos Decker does, but his character is so likable. His character is really likable. And then in the Camel Club series, the first one is called the Camel Club. The first one is called the Camel Club. I'm not sure split second. Let me see. King and Maxwell, like I said, they are in Washington D.C. Okay, so Split Second is the first book of the King and Maxwell. Yeah. Now, yeah, First Family isn't the first one, so yeah, you could go back to the beginning and start at Split Second. But if you go to David Baldacci's website, he has them all set up and they're in order, so that helps a lot. That helps a lot. Really, B, could you post a book list on your community wall? Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, Miss Honey. A book like you want a specific book list or what type of book list? Because we were going to post some. We were talking about David Baldacci earlier, so I was going to post that. But what type of book list are you talking about, babe? Oh, I never did drop the link, y'all. I am so sorry. Why y'all didn't remind me? Y'all know I get to talk and running my mouth. I'm so sorry. I'll make sure I do it next time. Yeah, First Family is King and Maxwell. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What books you want to know about, Miss Honey? Trying to wait for you, Miss Honey. Trying to wait for you, Miss Honey. Miss Honey, let me know what you're talking about. Are we doing Power Book 4 today? I don't know because I haven't been able to get in touch with the guys. Like I said the other day, Retro is out of town on business. So he's out of town on business. Oh, just a list of books you mentioned. Okay, I will. I can put something together. And so he's on the West Coast. So I knew trying to do 12:30 was gonna be hard. And I'm not sure if he's available today. And then um Jack of Jordans isn't available today. So I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do it today or not. But we're gonna try to get it done this week. We don't want to pile up on this and end up having to do like 2 episodes at one time because there's so much in one episode. Um, so yeah, but today hasn't been a good day. Um, people kind of had a lot going on, so and I actually I haven't heard from Retro because he's out of town on business, so I'm thinking he's working because I have normally he texts right back and I haven't heard from him, so I'm thinking he's probably on business. Yeah. All right, you guys, let me get out of here. But thank y'all for being here. I really do appreciate it. I know I move slow. I'm gonna get my groove with the book club and try to keep it balanced. We're gonna get a groove, and I thank y'all for hanging with me. Mwah. Thank y'all for hanging with me. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace. I don't know if we're gonna do a tribe meeting tonight or not. I'm not sure. The answer is I'm not sure. So, all right.